What do you think the significance is of this story around First Republic as central banks sit down to make decisions on whether to raise interest rates again?
Well, obviously, it's very impactful, and it impacts all of us. And if you listen to the political side of this, you would have them tell you that it really is a non-issue because it's all covered through the FDIC insurance. But money has to go into that, and they're insuring deposits well above what the insurance covers. And on the flip side of that, you look at the deal that Jamie Dimon made, and I mean they got a great deal in their purchase. So that all impacts us directly financially. But when we look at it on the broader market, what I really have big concerns about is that the Fed is not necessarily doing their job in supplying and regulating and making sure that there's adequate money supply for these banks. This all shouldn't be happening in a vacuum, and it feels like this is all just coming as a surprise to people at the very last minute. And the regulators should know a lot closer what's going on with these financial institutions. It should not be happening in a vacuum like this, and it makes me question a little bit why did they have to take them over and sell them all over a weekend? Could they have funded them and given them additional capital, provided them, loans that would have got them through this hard time? And that's, those are the questions that I think we still have out there. Additionally, if we look at what's going on with the bank situation, Jamie Dimon comes out and said, this is it. This is the end of it. We're all good now. I don't think we can really say that yet because we don't know what other problems might be lurking. And obviously, there's some things that are hidden. And a lot of this also comes down to there's been some mismanagement of these banks. The banks that have really taken the big hits are really, they back a lot of the high-tech industry, a lot of, and because they're in the tech world, they've been hit a lot more, I think, than they would have if they were anywhere else because they have a lot of their eggs in one basket. And so when you see blips, there tends to be a lot more panic because they're not spread across a bunch of different industries.
David, hard to argue that this is idiosyncratic or one-off when we've now got the body count at 3 on the on these major banks. In terms of what it means, though, I mean, in the wash-up of SVB, we saw the market saying, well, that's it. The Fed cannot possibly be hiking after this. And then we saw banking turmoil start to settle down and the markets quickly started to price back in the 25 basis points that we're looking at for this week. But it just does tell us how it can be quite key. The market perceives the financial conditions in the backdrop. And if there's more coming, then it does put question marks over the rate hikes from here. What's the playbook for the Fed? Do you think one and done after tomorrow?
I cannot imagine how they can do any more than this quarter point raise because it has caused so much turmoil in the marketplace. And frankly, we haven't seen a tremendous amount of effect for reducing inflation and doing the things that they've been trying to do with raising the interest rates. This would, represent a 5% increase in interest rates over the last 14, 15 months, which is massive. And for people to just to be able to absorb that, being able to pay more for things if they've got a floating rate loan and their credit cards and going out and buying homes, people still seem to be absorbing that, and we're not seeing a high rate of personal bankruptcy, but that can only go on for so long. You were talking a little bit about macroeconomics earlier and how people have not been keeping up, wage increases have not been keeping up with inflation. And that's a problem, and that's starting to hurt people. But I think people have been doing well enough that they've been able to survive this, but you've got to ask how long can we keep this up and what is going to be the long-term implications of this.